The Research Information Center, or RIC for short, is a Microsoft Research-sponsored project which facilitates research management by universities and other learning institutions using Microsoft technology. RIC improves research effectiveness through a comprehensive range of features aimed at storing and sharing information and allowing researchers to work together effectively. This screen recording is aimed at researchers and technical staff who are new to RIC and aims to show the breadth of functions within the application at an introductory level. The presentation can be viewed as a single user journey through the research process and the system. Alternatively, sections can be skipped or reviewed using the navigation on the left. In our model, the research process is broken down into 4 distinct quadrants of activity, each of which is supported by RIC. RIC has features which support the idea discovery, funding approval, experimentation, and the results dissemination stages of the research process. RIC supports research by providing a framework of technology categories for content management, knowledge management, social networking, and online collaboration. Content management features include automated templates, versioning control, workflow and document management, and content virtualization. Knowledge management features include tools such as blogs and wikis for managing unstructured information, and the capture and creation of knowledge in the community through information rating and ranking. Social networking features include profile pages and content creation and sharing tools such as blogs and forums. Online collaboration features enable individuals to find each other and the information they need. Access to RIC is via a username and password combination, which once logged on, presents users with appropriate information and features according to their role. The main RIC roles are project site owners, who could be a principal investigator or PI, for example, and users, who could be members of the research team, for example. The RIC project site owner has a higher level of permission than the users and may extend the system to support new research scenarios, as well as request new users. But the way they use the site on a day-to-day basis is very much the same as users. If you're a user and new to RIC, your username and password will be emailed to you at the request of a project site owner. If you're a site owner and new to RIC, you'll need to contact the person who administrates RIC in your organization, who will create an account for you. We should just briefly mention a third role in the system, the Project Administration Center, or PAC Administrator. Users with this role provision new sites and new users via the interface shown above, and also create and manage site templates as well as other administrative tasks. The PAC is accessed separately from the main RIC environment, and there is a separate tutorial covering its use. On logging into the system, users land at their personal homepage, which provides a summary of the activities in the projects they're involved with and links to content of their own. It's important to note that the personal homepage is different from the project homepage, which we'll see later. At the top of their homepage, users see a list of the projects they're engaged with and a short summary of recent activity in each project. Further down, there are feedback alerts from the automated processes which take place in RIC, such as the approval of proposal documents, for example, and we'll say more about this later. Your MySpace is your personal repository of information in which you can store references, bookmarks, and documents in a manageable structure. Other RIC users may see some of your MySpace content, and we cover how permissions to your MySpace is configured in a separate tutorial. One of the ways RIC allows experts to find each other is via their My Profile page. If you describe yourself, your expertise and interests on your My Profile page, RIC finds people with common profiles to help you build your knowledge network and research team. Populating your My site also allows others to find you. And by the way, you can also find people through the RIC search function, which is covered in more detail later. Once you've found people, you can add them to your project using the simple Request User tool, which is usually accessible from your project home page. Finally, depending on the way RIC is deployed in your organization, it may be possible to use RIC to find experts who are not yet part of RIC, but this needs to be discussed with your technical team who administrate RIC. And once you've found your research team, and they've been added to the project, team members can see each other's profile in the Participants area of the project. Now let's go back to our personal homepage so that we can navigate to the homepage of the project we're interested in, called Cytokines. We simply click on the Cytokines link in our project list. Here's the homepage of the Cytokines project, with our personal homepage shown as an adjacent tab. The project home is the overview page for each project and displays activities, feeds and discussions that relate solely to that project, as well as the project-specific navigation on the left-hand side of the page. Incidentally, the project navigation lists sequentially the research lifecycle within that project. The navigation is configurable in order, naming convention and visibility, and there is a separate tutorial showing how to do this. The first quadrant of the research lifecycle, and the navigable link just below the project overview, is planning or designing the study, which consists of idea discovery and review literature tabs. The idea discovery tab provides an area where general links and feeds related to the project are displayed, along with keywords for retrieving the project via search. As part of the project collaboration process, all project participants can manage this content. The Review Literature tab of Study Planning provides tools for finding and managing information sources. The Literature Search function enables simultaneous search across a configurable range of resources, which is sometimes called federated or integrated search. Let's conduct a search for our Cytokines project. First, we select the information sources we want to search across. Incidentally, site owners can determine which search sources are included in their site, and the people who administrate RIC at the highest level in your organization can add new search sources if this is required. The results are displayed on separate tabs for each source. Once you've found a reference, it can be quickly added to social bookmarking repositories like Conatea, or the personal or project bookmark or reference repositories as required. The full text can be downloaded by clicking the download icon on the right. The paper appears in a separate window so that the results page is always available. More information can be added to the display, such as authors and abstracts, and those references where the system has identified that full text is available can be highlighted. Search queries, which are also accessed from the Review Literature tab, can be saved so they can be shared with the rest of the project team. The system also records a history of searches. Logically, as we search for and find information from various sources, we need to store the results, which may include a range of information types, in a way that is shareable and discoverable with other members of our research team. So now let's take a look at one of the key features of RIC, the information repository. Here's an example of the shared project repository, which in this case is a document library. Note that one of the documents shown has tags and a comment. Tagging allows the user to rate and classify this information and is achieved by clicking on the Annotate link on the right. The annotation editor allows the team to tag, rate and comment a particular object. This can be done for any object in any repository and is an essential feature for building up and sharing a body of knowledge in a project. Now let's take a detailed look at the bookmark repository. Unlike a personal store of favorites in a web browser or simple links list, the bookmark repository has features which allow management and sharing of the information among the project team. Bookmarks can also be imported and exported between the RIC and social sites such as Delicious if the user wants to share them outside the project space. The slide library enables users to mix and match slides for various presentations. A ribbon control for PowerPoint 2007 enables slides to be quickly and easily saved into a RIC project. Slides can also be exported into an existing or new PowerPoint presentation. As the personal and project information in RIC and the number of experts using RIC builds over time, it's essential that all users can continue to find the information resources and experts they require. So now let's take a look at RIC Search. RIC has a powerful and flexible search engine allowing everything in the repositories, as well as the people and projects themselves, to be searched. Search results are presented in a structured and filterable way, and if tagged, a tag cloud will appear. Following study planning, the next quadrant of the research life cycle, and the navigable item below study planning, is obtaining funding. The funding area of RIC includes lists of funding information and sources, and tools for initiating and managing the funding proposal process. The overview page, which can be viewed by the whole research team, shows the status of funding proposals at any time. Let's illustrate the process by applying for arthritis research funding, just as an example. We can start by filtering our funding sources by keywords. Once we've found a suitable source, we're ready to create our proposal. We open up one of the existing proposal templates from the Proposal Templates library, and we can then complete our first draft. Once saved locally, we then upload it in a draft state to the project proposal repository, ready for feedback or approval from the research team, who are alerted to its presence via the feedback function on their personal home page. As each team member works on the document, it's appropriately versioned to keep the document under control, and when it's finally ready, it can be compiled and sent as a package to the funding body. An essential part of the collaboration and consensus building process, the discussion functionality enables the team to discuss specific project topics online and records and manages their discussion. All of the team members can create new posts and choose the members of the discussion. Discussion summaries are also viewed at the project overview level. In this presentation, we've shown many of the standard features of RIC which are designed specifically to support the research process. But one of the really great things about RIC is its flexibility and the way the system can be configured to support new research scenarios. While the detail of the ways you can extend the system to meet new requirements is largely outside the scope of this introduction, we should say that RIC is based on the powerful and flexible Microsoft Office SharePoint Server 2007 platform, which allows users with suitable permissions, who are usually principal investigators, to change the configuration of the system as they require. This may include changing the existing web parts to show different information, the addition of new lists and libraries to store new information types, the addition of new web part-based tools developed and shared by the community, the development of new views of the content to ease information discovery and place information in context, and new workflows and automatic processes to improve efficiency and ensure process best practice. Let's illustrate the potential of extending RIC by adding a calendar web part for the project team to share. The calendar web part is just one of the many standard SharePoint web parts, which are stored in the web part gallery along with the special RIC web parts developed by the RIC community. And here's our new web part, ready for the project team to contribute to. Here's another example of how to extend RIC using its SharePoint platform. Let's say we wanted to add a project task list to our cytokines project site. We start by adding a new list of items, in this case the standard SharePoint project task list. Here's our task list. All we need to do now is add the web part that presents it into the project homepage, which we do in the same way as adding the calendar. And finally, the web part containing the cytokines project tasks is ready for the project team to work on. In this recording, we've demonstrated the breadth of features in RIC and introduced the ways that the system can be extended. More detailed information can be found in the accompanying online tutorials or by visiting the links to further Microsoft SharePoint information displayed above.